have a relationship with Coach Frost?
It was awesome. He came off as real genuine, authentic. And it was just small talk, just getting to know each other. I didn't know he was going to be there until he showed up, so that was awesome.
Where was that?
My nephew's first round playoff game down in Texas.
Okay. Just this last fall?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Is that the weekend Bears had played like on a Thursday night, right? Or something?
No, we had a bye weekend.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
What's maybe the first thing you want to do, when you're able to get on the field with your guys, the first thing you want to say, this is what we need to focus on, this is what we need to hammer home right away?
The first thing we're focused on is just staying together, being together all the time, just getting as close as possible. Because, offensive line, obviously, you have to play through one set of eyes and play together. Five guys seeing the game as one. So that's the most important thing right now.
You had your first weekend of hosting official visitors. I guess, what was the reception like of being able to bring recruits into campus and talk to them about Nebraska football?
It was exciting, just kind of introducing them to and letting them feel how important fundamentals will be when they get here.
What's the key to developing guys, bringing them in as high school seniors and college freshmen and getting them out as pro prospects?
It's definitely a process. We're going to build them up from the ground up. So I think that's the most important thing.
Can you break that down a little bit? I mean, what's the emphasis with like strength training or the mental side of it?
Everything matters. Right now it's just developing their strength, helping them to understand how important nutrition is, for the whole athlete, and then getting the fundamentals down.
Donovan, what was attractive to you to coming to Nebraska, to coming to the college ranks and leaving the pro ranks?
This is a special place to me, and it's obviously has a great offensive line tradition, and those are two things that stuck out to me.
How many words of wisdom do you get from your brother in this situation? Walking in to coach this position that obviously he's got a lot of history and investment in.
Every day, we talk every day, and I'm lucky for that. And I have other guys that help me out too, so that's great.
What has he told you specifically about that Nebraska offensive line heritage that he's a part of?
Just the standard.
Did you, Cam Jurgens, I know, announced for the NFL yesterday, did you have a chance to talk with him about that decision before he made it, or had he already made up his mind?
Yeah, I didn't get to talk to him. I'm just focused on the guys that are here.
Okay.
When you have your group has a lot of guys that have played a lot of snaps. How do you kind of approach that group coming in terms of kind of bringing your own kind of style and how you teach and what you coach? And how do you kind of start building those things with those guys?
To me, I think it's important that they understand it's, whatever's happened in the past is happened in the past, and they got a clean slate, and I'm excited to get to work with them.
What's your experience level with recruiting? Obviously you're not doing it at the pro level, but how much have you done that previously?
I spent 2 years at Notre Dame. I didn't really, I got to meet the guys as they came in, and then I coached 1 year at a Division III college, so I got into recruiting a little bit there. But I think it's most important just being honest with people and creating relationships.
How do you, what's your template for guys that you look for in the recruiting?
I think there's 3 things: tough, smart, and athletic.
Is there a certain territory or part of the country that you feel like you have some relationships that you would start recruiting in that area a little more?
Yeah, we haven't gotten that far yet.
How much of your attitudes and mindsets about offensive line play were shaped by your time at Wisconsin as a player?
That definitely helped, create that mindset. And obviously Wisconsin's a great offensive line school as well. So I was lucky to spend 5 years there around some great people.
What were the guiding principles about offensive line play? Just about what it takes to play in this league at the level that you want. That you took from, I don't know if it was Coach Alvarez, but obviously he's a name that people know here, and just your years there in Madison.
Just a lot of hard work.
Have you had a chance to dig into tape, look at the guys who were returning on this group here?
I'm actually going through that right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so
You got any initial thoughts on any of the guys that you're going to have in your room?
yeah, I really haven't watched enough to make that decision yet.
Do you come here with family? Do you have kids? Are you married? Anything like that?
Yes, they're in Kauai. My fiance is actually on her way here, and then my daughter's well, she'll be 2 in February. Yeah.
It's a little colder. I mean, not today, I
Yeah.
suppose, but
No,
usually
yeah.
it's a lot colder this time.
Yeah, my fiance's a pediatric dentist, so she's got her office in Kauai, but we're hoping that we'll be up here.
What was that conversation with her about? Just making the trip out here. Was that an easy decision? Was that kind of tough to take that leap?
No, not at all. She's excited.
I know you're just getting your feet on the ground in the recruiting part of it. Coach Frost obviously has had a lot of success recruiting your home state.
Mm-hmm.
You see Coach Tuioti out doing work in the Hawaiian, Polynesian community. Now you're on the offensive side of the ball. There's a couple guys, or at least one, in this recruiting class who comes from that background.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what kind of a recruiting market is that for Nebraska to be able to tap into some of that that these coaches have already had some success with in their careers?
I think it's really good. There's a lot of good athletes that come out of that state every year, as small as it is. But I think you definitely can find great talent out there.
What is it about Coach Whipple's offense, Coach Frost's offense, an O-lineman in that offense? What has to work? What has to be maybe the first objective for the line?
For us, staying on size, being disciplined. Yeah.
Had you had any experience with Coach Whipple before? Did you know people that knew him or anything like that?
I didn't know him personally, but I know people that do know him, and everyone says awesome things about him.
How much have you gotten to know just some of the other new coaches, whether it's Coach Whipple or Mickey Joseph? Or...
Yeah, everyone's great. I mean, just a special feeling here,
You talked about the standard that your brother had mentioned about Nebraska's offensive line. What do you mean by that? What is the standard in your mind of Nebraska's offensive line?
It's, toughness, the mentality that they play with, and being disciplined, and standard would always be the standard.
I know you're still getting to know some guys in your room. What's been just some impression of some of those guys?
They're great guys to be around. I'm just excited to get to work with them.
When did you actually get to Lincoln? I mean, how long have you actually been here?
I got here on Friday morning. Yeah. So.
You mentioned your time at Wisconsin. Obviously, not only are they producing great linemen, but it seems like development is the hallmark of what makes them good. They get kind of lower profile recruiting guys and turn them into All-Americans. How much does that kind of hammer home the importance of not necessarily getting caught up in star rankings or anything like that on the recruiting front, but just seeing what a guy could be 3, 4, even 5 years down the line?
Development of young athletes is so important. Being in a Wisconsin type environment, and that's how that program was built, on developing players.
I know you worked with Coach Eastand
Yes,
at
sir.
a couple different stops. What did he mean to you as a mentor, and maybe what have you taken from the way he coaches that you like to do now?
I'm just blessed and grateful to have a guy like that in my life, kind of guiding me through it all. Just understanding, the work never stops, improvement never stops, and there's never enough time in the day to help a player improve.
Was there any 1 or 2 points that is really important for him that he would always remind guys of?
Just always being together, how important that is with 5 guys playing as one, and seeing through one set of eyes.
How easy or difficult is that to get to? 5 guys seeing through one set of eyes.
It's definitely a process. Every day we're working on it, and just reminding them that everything we do, we're gonna do it together.
what do you want fans to know about the O-line, how it's going to go about its business, what they can expect to see from those guys on game days?
Just like we talked about, a level of toughness, level of discipline, and just guys that are going to do everything to help Nebraska win.
Is there a difference in O-line play in the Big Ten than other conferences around the country? I mean, is it a different style? Does it need a different type of player to have a high-level offensive line in the Big Ten?
I just think, as offensive linemen, you can, develop guys into good players, and that'll be my focus, is driving home those fundamentals and like always, the standard will always be the standard. Never letting them slip.
What's something that, as someone who worked at the professional level, what can you tell these guys, like, this is what it takes to make it in the NFL?
It's very important, the details of your job and focusing on, doing your job and what's important.
Do you like doing these interviews?
No.
Why not?
We're offensive linemen. We're not supposed to talk to the media. The only time you hear about us is when we mess up.
Have you done many interviews, like, in your career? Like, I imagine it
As a
in
player,
Chicago.
but not as a coach.
Okay. So you'd rather, like, just get to business, like,
Yeah.
what is this? Like, let's get out there and do it.
Yes, exactly. Just kind of, be in the corner somewhere.
What's your take on name image like this? And as far as college athletes being branded as celebrities, doing
Yeah.
commercials, doing all that
It's
stuff.
interesting. I'm still trying to learn about it, It's definitely changed the game.
Your group had a burrito. They had a whole thing. I don't know if you plan on trying the pipeline burrito at all.
Oh, I haven't even heard about that.
That's something. I mean, it seems like your personality is, like you said, kind of stay out of the limelight like that. But with the NIL thing, there's a push to get guys out there and maybe do things that some might view as distractions from football. What's kind of your balance of what you want your guys to be able to capitalize from that, but also not get too involved in things outside of the task at hand?
Yeah, as long as they know what's important, I think that's the main thing,
What's your, I guess, history growing up in football? Like, when did you start playing? What was that like for you growing up?
We've watched football ever since I can remember. My dad played football at the University of Miami back in the '70s, and football has been a part of our lives since ever since I can remember. And then I started playing when I was like 9 years old.
Where did you grow up? What part of the country?
In Hawaii.
You did? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Did you have a favorite team that you watched or player?
No, we went to Hawaii games growing up. My parents had season tickets, and then Dom came to Nebraska, and this was my favorite team through high
Did you go
school.
to any games while he played here?
No, I actually missed them. I got to go to a spring game the year after the national championship season, so that was the only game that I got to go to. I was busy playing high school football in Hawaii.
I know it's just a spring game, but did you kind of get an idea of the environment, the fan base?
It was sold out.
How much of that are you looking forward to? I mean, I know you've been around, you've seen a lot of big-time college and NFL environments, but have you thought about just what your first game experience at Nebraska is going to be like as a member of the program?
It's going to be awesome. Like I said, this place is special, and the fans is definitely a big part of why this place is so special. But as always, you got to focus on what's important, and that's winning.
What do you think it might be like when Nebraska, Wisconsin are playing for the first time next year? Just for you personally, having a background with both schools.
It's going to be really awesome,
Do you keep in touch with a lot of folks over at Wisconsin still?
A few.
Did you want to get back into the college game? I mean, is that kind of the direction you wanted to go, or I mean, what was kind of your?
I don't have a preference. I just really enjoy helping people, and this is through football is the way I can help the most people.
Is there I guess an opportunity to do that more, given the kind of the mentorship aspect, I guess, that you kind of get as a college coach versus maybe a pro coach? Or?
Yeah, that's, just helping kids, develop into men. That's pretty exciting, keeping a finger on them and understanding like they have a lot going on and just keeping them focused on what's important.
What's I guess what's sort of on the to-do list in the off season for the guys that are here? Is it? I mean, I know strength training and things like that are taken off, but what's sort of on the list for you here in these next few months?
Just helping them with the process and the progression of understanding our fundamentals. That's going to be, it's really simple, but detailed at the same time. So just really focus. It's going to be a process, and I understand that, and we're going to work through it together.
From what you've seen, is that a big change from what you've seen on film from how they, conducted their fundamentals previously, or is it similar?
It'll be different.
How can you explain how?
I think just understanding that, it's going to be more attacking style. I don't know. I don't want to get into it too much.
Is there a lineman in college or pro that you kind of can point guys to and say, this is how we want to look, this is how, or a line that you can point guys to that say, this is how we'd like to be?
A lot of the guys that I was around at Notre Dame, I wasn't around Zach Martin, but he's when you watch him play, you just watch him. It looks like he's doing his drills. Quentin Nelson, Ronnie Stanley, all those guys. Nick Martin. I mean, I can go down a long list of guys that do it the right way, and I was lucky to be around it. And
And that's because of the technical side of it, or the fire that they play with, or a combination of
just
that?
the standard from understanding the basics, right? Lining up correctly, and then everything falls into place. All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks.
You guys have a good day. Thank you.
Do you go by Donovan or Donnie?
You guys can call me Donovan.
Donovan.
Thank you.